record. Good evening, ladies. How are we doing today? It is so wonderful to see everyone here on the live as well. I am Coach Reverend Melvina Ford. I am also G100's All Ladies League Tennessee State Chair, and I am welcoming you to tonight's segment of Healthier You for 2022. I love it. And with me, I have two wonderful, awesome, power-packed women, very knowledgeable. First one is All G100 City Chair representing Johnson City, Tennessee, Rebecca Dillow.
Hi, everyone.
Rebecca is the founder of Equality Health Coaching Services, where she provides custom health coaching services for anyone living with pre-diabetes that want to reverse their condition and live a healthier lifestyle. She received her lifestyle coaching certification from Emory University in 2018. And not only has she helped over 50 men and women improve their health, she has also completely reversed diabetes for herself through lifestyle modifications. Rebecca is a passionate health coach whose mission is to help others to do the same. Rebecca also serves her community as a nonprofit leader and is a very proud mother of two amazing daughters and granddaughters and a wonderful grandson with a fourth grandbaby on the way.
Yay.
Rebecca loves to promote sisterhood and provide encouragement and support to her sisters so that we can all spread our wings and soar. You can follow Rebecca on both her pages, Instagram and Facebook, at Equality Health Coaching. And our second panelist is also an All G100 City Chair representing Royal Oak, Michigan, and that is Ashara Anaya.
Hello, hello.
Ashara is a biochemical nourishment specialist, herbalist, and health coach with a lifelong passion for facilitation of healing. She's committed to helping to restore and maintain balance within the body. Ashara assists individuals and families through various methods, which include, but are not limited to, lectures, classes, training and coaching, natural supplements, meal planning, meal prep, and a variety of packaged food products. Ashara is also a homeschool teacher who has homeschooled co-op in the city of Detroit. She has homeschooled her own children for 11 years, and she's passionate about teaching and educating. She heavily focuses on critical thinking and self-esteem development. And you can also find Ashara as well on Facebook at Rebel House Wellness Community and on Instagram at Rebel House Wellness, all one word. So ladies, are you ready to get this segment started?
Yes.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Right.
I'm excited.
I am too. Okay, first question, and we are out the box. This one goes to Rebecca. Rebecca, what are some things that a person can do to gradually make adjustments to their lifestyle, food, and activities without putting their body in shock? Example, to stop smoking cigarettes. Rebecca?
Okay. Well, thank you, Melvina. And thank you everyone for joining us tonight. It's wonderful to be here to talk about such an important topic as health and how we can be healthier in 2022. So I wanted to thank Ashara and Melvina for working with me on this. And we're really excited and grateful that you all are here with us. I'm also live on my Instagram page. So hi, Instagram over here on my left and Facebook's over here straight ahead. So thank you for being here with us. Well, basically, as you said, Melvina, I basically help people with lifestyle. I don't get deep, heavy into, heavy things. I help people who really are going from a sedentary lifestyle and need to make gradual changes. So this is a great question for me. So for example, if a person wanted to reduce the number of cigarettes they're smoking or start to curb their cigarettes. So my thing is to set a goal for yourself. If you currently smoke, let's say 10 cigarettes a day, and you're trying to get down to no cigarettes at all, maybe try one less per day or one less per week, right? And gradually wean yourself from that. a lot of studies have shown that nicotine, going into your body can literally go into shock when you start to remove those things. So more of a gradual removal. I know for some people, they quit cold turkey and have a couple of night sweats and, they're able to bounce back. But really a healthy way to do it is a gradual way. Same thing with soda or sugary drinks. I've had a lot of clients who were drinking 6, 7 cans of soda a day, and which is really, really hard on your blood sugar, really, really hard on your body. So my suggestion is go from, if you're at 6 a day, try 5 a day, although that kind of blows my mind, right? But go to 5 a day. And then, once you can get down, go to 4 a day. And then eventually you can get down to 0 per day, if that's the goal. And on the other side of that is like adding water. Believe it or not, there's people who don't drink water, don't drink adequate water, or don't drink any water at all. So what I would suggest in adding water, adding a glass a day, right? So if you have a baseline of 0 water, drinking 1 glass per day will help, and then move it up to 2 glasses per day and 3 glasses per day, et cetera. So lifestyle change, whether it's taking something away or adding something to your diet, can be gradual so that it's not so shocking to your systems. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. Going on to our next question. Ashara, this is for you. Ready?
Yeah.
Weight management or weight loss are hot topics, especially going into the new year. What do you think people should understand about this? And what do obese and underweight people have in common?
So that's a great question. And I also want to thank you guys for coming, and thank you for doing this, Melvie, and thank you, Becca, for participating in this with me. First, it's important to understand that although there are so many different diets out here, and many of them can be said to work, if we're looking at the word work mean in terms of it caused weight loss. But we have to look more into what is happening with the diet. We have to look beyond the weight loss, because starvation can cause weight loss, right? Drug addiction can cause weight loss. We don't want to focus on whether or not something causes weight loss. And most of these weight loss diets are actually diets of deficiency, whether it's a low calorie diet, low carb or keto, intermittent fasting, or a variety of fat diets. And even the supposedly healthy diets out there, the focus for these diets is never really nutrition. And they manipulate the body to lose weight through lack, which will lead to health problems sooner or later, during the diet, immediately after the diet, or sometime later. The focus must be nutritional balance for long-lasting healthy results. We don't want to have situations where we're constantly rebounding or yo-yoing, or entering into situations where we're so focused on losing weight that we are literally entering states of malnutrition. Both obese and underweight people are actually suffering from malnutrition. When we think of malnutrition, we tend to think of someone who has not eaten or who barely gets much food at all. May thin people can eat lots in terms of bulk and not gain much weight. And many obese people may only eat once or twice a day and not lose much weight at all. Malnutrition is the simple lack of one or more of the sufficient nutrients, or not being able to properly use the nutrients obtained. Someone can get plenty of carbs, plenty of fats, plenty of protein, but be significantly lacking in things like vitamin C, magnesium, potassium. This person is malnourished, even if appearing to be otherwise. Malnutrition can occur due to several reasons: lack of a consumption of foods needed, problems or challenges absorbing the nutrients that they're getting, or even stress, which causes a dumping of certain nutrients and increases the use of various nutrients. A lot of stressors include, but aren't necessarily limited to, mental and emotional stressors, disease like diabetes or hypertension, injury, toxins and poisonous substances, and refined foods, and excessive or even strenuous exercise. And there can be issues with a conversion or use of nutrients like vitamin D, for example. Many people are actually vitamin D deficient, but they don't understand that taking vitamin D supplements is not going to work necessarily unless they also have magnesium. So there's information that we need to have and not just focus on losing weight. We're dealing with what we take in, what we absorb, what we can retain, and what we can use, or how quickly or efficiently we can use it up.
That was a lot, but that was very, very informative. And as a you could say client of hers, and I usually call her my herbalist. I can agree with some of that. So some of the things that she talks about, I literally ask her about a lot. So with that being said, we're moving forward. Rebecca, next question. What can a person do now to help their children or their grandchildren to grow up healthier and disease-free?
Well, I think from based on my experience and my professional and my personal experience is to be the example. The days of it's not what I do, but what I say. When I was coming up, that's what they say. You know, I would say, well, you're smoking cigarettes. And they say, it's not what I do. It's what I, do what I say, not what I do. But those days are behind us, as children are much more sharp these days, and they really are paying attention to everything we do and everything we don't do. So for me, it's about being the example. So hello. Could you unmute your line, please? Someone's line's unmuted. For example, the Christmas holiday just passed. And so for me, what I did as an example, although I was tired, I'd help clean up and everything. I went and took a 30-minute walk after dinner, right? Instead of just sitting down and kind of sitting around like everyone else, I made sure I got up and I made sure I was walking. And guess who was out there with me? The 3 grandbabies running around on their bikes, seeing me walk, and just being the example is really what's helped me. I started my journey like 10 years ago. My children were teenagers at the time. They thought I was crazy, but they now, as young adults in their 20s, they've picked up the healthy habits that I've implemented in my life since I started this journey. So being the example is the number one way that we can be, make sure that our babies and grandbabies really live a healthier life. And so if you feel like you're struggling, like you don't know how to do it, right? There's lots that you can do your research, figure out some fun games or activities that you can do with your family and with the children and make it fun. It's a great way to get them in the kitchen and start showing them how to cook and maybe learn some healthier ways to cook and give them the opportunity to be in there with you. They love smoothies and fun stuff like that. It's really, just really integrating fun stuff so that children can embrace it. Also, make the babies drink water. They don't want to drink water, some of them, but do it anyway. It's the best thing. Get them away from those sugary drinks as much as possible. Make sure they have water so they can stay hydrated, so they can digest their food properly. Dehydration is really hard on our organs. It's hard on our digestive system. I see Dr. Mary's drinking her water. And that's great. And so being that example for the babies is really where it's at. And that's how we can make sure that we, can change some of these generational things that many of us face, of poor eating habits, sedentary lifestyles, and let's change it up. Let's be in 2022, be that person in your family that says, you know what, we're not going to sit around after a meal. Let's all get up and go on a walk together. Right. So those are some of the suggestions I'd have. And try to cut back on the fast food, and I know it's hard because a lot of the babies are especially if you have the grandbabies and they're used to eating McDonald's or fast food, it's kind of a challenge. However, it's the best thing for them to have a home cooked meal, a good, healthy meal prepared at home. That's my best advice I could give to really making sure that the babies get the best chance at having a healthy lifestyle.
Good deal. Love it. We all know we all have children and grandchildren, so
Yes.
And it is very challenging in this lifestyle. So next question goes to Ashara. Ashara, what are the major factors in the development and persistence of hypertension and diabetes, which are two very common ailments, especially now.
Yes, yes. So how many of you have ever heard that every function of the body requires nutrients? How many of us have ever had that statement put to us in any way? We'll even have doctors sometimes minimizing the importance of certain nutrients. And that's sad, I think, for 2021 to be ending and to still have that situation. But the fact is that every single nutrient works synergistically with others in various ways and combinations to make sure that the proper functioning of our bodies takes place as it should. Every moment, every day, every year. Every disease that isn't caused by chemical toxins or bacteria, viruses, fungi, or parasites in general occurs because there is nutritional imbalance. Too much of something and or not enough of something. Even if when it comes to harsh chemicals, microbes, parasites, we can still be more susceptible to them when we're not getting proper nutrition. And here we are with COVID, and so many people are experiencing problems with that, but so many of us have a lack of nutrition. When dealing with diabetes, the focus tends to be on carbs, but it's important to remember that carbohydrates are an essential nutrient. Yes, they increase insulin, which is what should happen. Insulin is what the body makes to get sugars into the cells where it's needed. When a person's blood sugar is high, it's because that process isn't happening properly. The cells won't take in insulin or sugar, so sugars are remaining in the blood, and the cells are struggling because of it. The focus should be on why the cells won't take insulin. We have to go back to the beginning of this answer. The cells have been deprived over time of necessary nutrients. Now they function properly. Now, if they don't now they don't function properly, and both type 2 diabetes and hypertension are metabolic disorders. Both of these diseases involve insulin resistance, meaning the cells are not taking in insulin or sugar. It's also important to remember that being obese is not the cause of hypertension or diabetes. Obesity is one way that malnutrition can present itself, as I said in my first answer. It's a symptom. Skinny people also get diabetes and hypertension, right? The nutrients that are major players for beginning to actually resolve the problem are magnesium, potassium, vitamin D, vitamin C, chromium, zinc, and thiamine. If you have issues with blood sugar regulation that aren't due to an autoimmune disease, which is type 1 diabetes, then carbs are not the problem. Lack of nutrition is. What are the foods that best provide us with these nutrients? Various green vegetables, especially spinach, root vegetables like potatoes, sweet potatoes, and beets, various fruits like avocados, pineapples, strawberries, and citrus, meat and fish, especially red meats. Although they've gotten a pretty bad reputation, they are not the devil that we are told that they are, but also salmon and mackerel. I also want to take a minute as we're approaching 2022, and most of the time and during the new year, a lot of people want to do detoxes. As we're talking about nutrition, proper detoxification also requires nutrients. Again, the proper execution of every function requires nutrients. If you're depriving yourself of nutrients in order to detox, something is going to go very wrong there. So there's my answer.
Sounds like a deal to me. That's a lot to take in, but it's also something to think about for all of us because we have to really watch what we're eating, and it can get a bit confusing at times. I understand that. Next question.
Melvina, can I add on to that just a little bit? Can I add on to what she was saying?
Yep.
You know, and I'm sitting over here on Instagram like, she is so smart, y'all. I tagged you, Ashara, too. So hopefully
Thank you.
Followers. You're welcome. But you know, it's so true because if we don't, and that's why the name of my business is Equality. Equality means balance.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that means. And it's so important. That's why I love partnering with Ashara, because we both agree it is not about depriving ourselves of things. It's about proper, balanced nutrition. So thank you, Ashara, for how you broke that down. It made so much sense. And they said they can hear you on Instagram. So I think it's working over here, y'all.
Okay, good.
But I just wanted to say that it's really important. And I think too often we kind of get caught up in these fad diets, especially this time of year, and we think I'm going to juice grapefruits for 7 days and that's all I'm going to put in my body. And you're right. It totally deprives us of other things we need. So great point, Ashara. I just wanted to piggyback on that. All right, I'm ready for the question.
Thank
What you got for me, Malvina?
All righty then, let's move it forward. What do you suggest a person should do during cold winter months to stay healthy?
Awesome question. Awesome. Yes, during cold weather, it is really, it can be a challenge because many people do not like going out in the cold weather to exercise, right? So some things you can do: bundle up. That's the first thing. Just dress appropriately, bundle up. It's important that we get out and get sunshine. Going back to what Ashara was talking about, vitamin D deficiencies. A lot of that is the worst this time of year because people lack getting in the sun. So bundle up, make sure you get out there in that sun, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, what you can bear, okay? Some people are doing some things where they go like very little clothes, they expose their chest in the cold. I don't recommend that. That's not something that I would recommend. I would recommend bundling up, getting outside, getting some fresh air, and getting some sun. Also, if you can't do that, if it's easier for you or you're just not comfortable doing that and you need to stay inside. A lot of times we're more sedentary in the winter, watching movies, watching our shows on TV. What I suggest to my clients during those commercial breaks, get up, stand up during every commercial break, walk in place, get you some little 5-pound hand weights, do this. You can do that while you're sitting on the couch, right? You can actually sit on the couch and do exercises, stretch your legs. Don't allow yourself to lay there and be still. We should get up at least once every 30 minutes and move around, move our bodies, okay? Also, maybe do some house cleaning that you have been putting off all year, right? During the winter months is a great time to get in those closets, clean out stuff that's just kind of in our way that we're not even using anymore. And doing those things, those types of activities burn calories and keep us active. So cleaning our homes. Also, sometimes I have right here, you can't see behind me, but this is my office. I call it my wellness room because I have my office space, I have my meditation space, and I have my books, and I have my workout space all in this little tiny room. But it works, it's functional. And what I do, I go to like yard sales and thrift stores to get equipment. You can buy hand weights for hardly nothing. Like people donate that stuff all the time. So if you're on a budget and you're looking for ways to get some equipment in your house, like a medicine ball or some hand weights, a jump rope, I would suggest buying a new mat. You probably don't want to get a used mat, but a new mat might be best. But it's really, to create a space in your home somewhere that's just for your physical movement. Stretch every day. Make sure you stay hydrated. Even though it's cold, keep drinking your water. It's really, really important that metabolically that our bodies continue to function. Also, going back to what Ashara was saying, get your vitamin D. Make sure you're taking a supplement with your magnesium as well. You can also get vitamin D from mushrooms. If you're a mushroom fan, get more mushrooms this winter. It's a great time, to eat more mushrooms. Also some fish. You can eat some salmon, some flounder. Those are good sources of vitamin D as well. So my thing is keep moving, whatever it is. Just don't get in the habit or try to stay out of the habit of just sitting down all day long. It's important that we get up and we move, that we stay warm when we go outside. And trust me, I'm not a fan of the cold. And I know, Ashara, you're in Detroit, so in Michigan, so I already know, like, I wouldn't be going anywhere. But bundle up appropriately, get that fresh air, get that sunshine, stay hydrated. Make sure, get out and play in the snow with the babies. If you're in an area that gets snow, get out there and play in the snow. We did it when we were young. We can still do it, right? And I think that's about it. Make sure that we maintain our muscles or work on our muscles as much as possible. In the summer, our muscles tend to get better because we're moving around outside. But inside, make sure you're doing something. Even a 3-pound hand weight, 5-pound hand weight can really make a difference. So I think that's all I got, Melvina.
Great answer, great answers, great answers. Love those. All right, for our last question, Ashara, here we are. What are some common food myths that you think people should know about in order to refine foods, additives, and certain types of processing?
Okay, so obtaining all the necessary nutrients through foods that have not been refined, filled with additives, or processed in certain ways is always best. If you're using non-food nutritional supplements, then the goal should be to get yourself to a point of no longer needing them. So a lot of times, talking about vitamin D, you go to the doctor, they say, oh, you have vitamin D deficiency. What do? They give you a vitamin D supplement. But we just heard about so many different ways to get vitamin D, right? So many natural ways to get vitamin D, but doctor's going to tell you, go take a supplement. Okay, great. If you have a severe deficiency, a supplement can help plenty, but you want to get to understanding that the foods, or for vitamin D, the sunlight, those should be your primary sources. Please know that nutrients that are added to foods are non-food synthetic nutritional supplements. Fortified foods like rice or oats or certain other things that they say, oh, with added this or added that. Fortified foods should get a major side eye. Every nutrient we need is obtainable through real, unadulterated food. Nutritional supplements can actually lead to imbalances of nutrients and even cause toxicity and be a burden on the liver or kidneys. So it's important to be careful with those things, even if you're just using them to get yourself to a specific point of being able to get the nutrients from foods only or primarily. One great way to increase intake of certain kinds of nutrients is to juice. We just heard about juicing also. Juice fruits and vegetables. Many stores sell affordable juice extracting machines. Some people make juice with a high-speed blender. This is actually a smoothie or a puree, not a juice. The difference is that juice doesn't have fiber in it. Like when you use a citrus juice to get a citrus juicer to get lemon, get your lemon juice if you're using lemon for something you're cooking. But purees and smoothies retain the fiber. The fiber is good for you, but it'll fill you up faster. So you have those options, but either option is great for getting extra nutrients in. The purpose of juicing is to get extra vitamins and minerals out of the food as possible, as many vitamins and minerals out of the food as possible. In addition to consuming smoothies, salads, soup, stews, etc. As a matter of fact, if you can replace water in a smoothie recipe with homemade juice, then you're going to increase those benefits. So one myth that we have is that taking supplements is necessary. It's not necessary. We've been told over the years that the only way to make sure you get all your nutrients is to take supplements. That's not necessarily true. There are so many ways to do that, and juicing is one of them. But you can always get everything you need from food.
Okay, good deal.
Melvina, the ladies over here, our friends on Instagram, are staying at 5 and below. They have all kinds of great, inexpensive workout equipment. So I just want
Yes,
to let
they do.
everybody know that.
And
Yes.
I'm a famous fan of theirs.
Right.
I bought
Awesome.
10-pound weights and 5-pound weights, 3-pound weights. They will work with, they have weights according to where you want to start at. So, and that's a really, really good thing. I've gotten a lot of my equipment there to get me started when I first started doing my fitness training.
Awesome.
So with that being said, we are going to, that was a lot of information. And I know a lot of you probably have questions, and we actually are ahead of schedule, which is wonderful. You guys did such a great job answering the questions. So what I'm going to do now is open up the lines and let everyone ask questions, any questions that you may have. One of them I do see on Facebook right now from Nicole. Nicole asked about mineral depletion in foods. Anyone want to answer that? Who wants to answer that, Ashara or Rebecca?
Mineral depletion in foods, was that a specific, did she have more to the question?
I'm not exactly sure because I just now seen the message, but she was talking about mineral depletion. She didn't give me too much of an example.
Okay. Well, I'll just speak in general then, because over the years we have had issues with our soils having less nutrients available. So it really often depends on where you're getting your foods from, because some smaller farms do take care to rotate their crops. And they also have a lot of them are also raising animals on the farms, which are constantly fertilizing the soil. A lot of the larger industrial farms are often using um, fertilizers that are just doing enough to get the plant to grow and not necessarily providing the plant with a wide variety of nutrients. So unfortunately, there's just less and less to these soils because they're just constantly planting in the same locations. So the soils will be depleted over time. That's not something we can do a whole lot about, but we do have the opportunity to get certain information from certain sources, which are telling us as time goes on what the average amounts of certain nutrients are in various foods. So we have the access to that information, and it does show that foods are having less and less. So that's why I constantly go over this information so that I can find the foods that have the most available. So I was talking about magnesium earlier, and I mentioned spinach, largely because if you're looking for magnesium from food, spinach is the place to get it. It's
Right.
unfortunate, but with all the other leafy greens, nothing compares to spinach, nothing. So that's something we have to kind of try to learn, is what's offering what at this point, because unless you're growing up in like Hawaii or some tropical island where things are growing abundantly around you, or unless you're growing food, because that's an option for a lot of people, to just have a little patch and just get started in your yard or start growing things at home where you know what you're fertilizing with. Then you just have to kind of try to learn food facts, what's in what's going to provide what, because there are not a lot of nutrients overall in the foods anymore.
Just to add on, I used to work with at Clemson University, and you can take soil if you grow your own food. You can take your soil to the extension office. Every state has an extension office, so you can check in your state, and they will test the soil for what nutrient levels are in the soil, and it's only like $6. It's really inexpensive, but they will test your soil so you can see what's in it. So if there's something missing in your soil, you can, figure out how to add it, and they can help you because that's what they do. So I just wanted to add that to that as well, just for anyone's information.
Good deal. Okay, ladies, if anyone
Oh,
else
I'm
has
so
any
sorry, Melvinia.
questions, okay.
Really quickly, because that question, in order to help you guys have access to information like what I was just talking about, there are now apps that help provide that. I used to have to manually go find this information, but there's an app that I'll give you the name of. It's Chronometer, CRONO-O-METER. It's a very, very good app. None of these apps are going to be perfect, because there are going to be situations where you're going to have put in a food and try to figure out, okay, how do I want to do this? Do I want to say I'm measuring this by grams or ounces or cups? So if you have a food scale, great. If you don't, you can just eyeball it and get somewhere in the ballpark and input it into the app, and it'll say, okay, for example, 1 cup of spinach cooked provided me with this much potassium, this much magnesium, this much of this or that or the other. So it's very helpful for trying to see what you're getting and also what you're missing every day.
Good deal. Good deal. Okay, who has questions?
I have a question over here on
My
Instagram.
hand up.
Oh, somebody has their hand up.
Dr.
I've
Anita,
had my
Hi,
hand up for a
Anita.
while. If I may ask a question, if I
go for
may.
it. Go for it.
Thank you. First of all, this is very informative. I really appreciate it, Reverend Melvina, Ashara, and Becca. Is it possible that the samples that you guys gave, the supplements with the food, if you could create some type of chart or something and put it on maybe one of you guys' Facebook page so that any of us who want to print it out, that we could have it? Like the samples you gave me, spinach, magnesium, and Ashara mentioned a whole plethora of nutrients where we could get from the foods, and Becca mentioned a myriad of exercises that we could do during the winter months. Can you guys create that, do a chart like that, just to do a little what do you call it, Microsoft document?
Mhm.
Sure, I don't think that would be too hard.
Yeah, well, for so like lists of different foods and the nutrients for certain types of nutrients, you mean like
Yeah, just what you had mentioned: vitamin D, potassium, magnesium,
so,
something else. But you list the food, like the food
mhm.
that we could get. We could get the nutrients from that food.
Yeah, so the app that I mentioned, Chronometer, is actually going to help you with that. But I do have lists for certain nutrients, especially because Chronometer, like I said, there's nothing perfect. There are certain nutrients that are not shown in that app, like chromium or biotin, or I think choline may be there, but there are certain other ones that are not there. I have food lists for all of those things. And then I have food lists for the major hitters that most people don't get enough of, like potassium, zinc, and magnesium. I could definitely post that, like make a PDF of that. It would be quite large.
Okay, now I was just thinking about something simple. You mentioned maybe 6 supplements, and
So like
then
the top
Becca
5
mentioned,
things. Yeah,
and
okay.
Becca mentioned like 6 different ways that we can exercise. Because I guess in my mind, I'm thinking if there's something on a Facebook page, I could just print out and tape to like my refrigerator or tape to my
Okay,
bedroom
cool.
mirror.
Yeah, that sounds
Something simple, yeah.
Like a cheat sheet, like a
A
cheat
cheat
sheet.
sheet. There you
There
go.
you
Who
go.
said that? Yeah, there you
okay.
go.
Okay,
I'm over
yeah.
here racking my brain like, what? I get it.
Right, yeah, cheat
Yeah,
sheet. There you
yeah.
go.
Cool. Yeah, I could definitely put something like that together, like top 5 or top 10 for each.
Yeah, yeah, and it would just be on one. You and Becca just combine that on one piece of paper.
Okay.
Thank you, ladies. That'd be
Good deal.
great.
Rebecca,
Thank
you said
you.
In
someone
here.
on Instagram had a question.
Yeah, they were asking about liquid chlorophyll. What's your take on liquid chlorophyll, Ashara?
So it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
But my thing is, I'm really not big on heavily processed things. So imagine what it takes to just extract the chlorophyll from something. Like protein supplement. I'm not big on protein powders and stuff like that, unless it's whey protein, because whey protein is the only thing you don't have to do anything for. If I take my raw milk that I buy every week and set it on my counter overnight, I'll have whey the next day or day after, and I didn't do a thing. But if you're trying to take protein out of a pea, that's an extensive process. And by the time you get this protein extracted out of it, what do you really have, and what is it doing, and what did they put in there or do to get to that? And actually you can find that information on by Googling it, and it's not pretty. So with the chlorophyll or anything like that, where it's just like this one thing that they extracted out of something, I'm not big on those things. If you want to get chlorophyll, juice, eat the green vegetables. You'll get plenty of chlorophyll if you juice spinach or any other green, if you juice greens, period. And you can always mix that with fruits to make it palatable.
Okay.
You all heard that. I think they can hear pretty good over here on Instagram, so I think we're good. What about spirulina? Are you a
Mm-mm.
no?
No, the thing about spirulina, we get bombarded with so many superfoods. These companies know we're looking for buzzwords, and they sell us on these things that may or may not be good for us. Spirulina is not a plant. Spirulina is a bacteria, and it's a gram-negative bacteria. So it's actually giving us a certain kind of toxin called lipopolysaccharide. LPS for short. That toxin actually disrupts the immune system.
Hmm.
So although it's green and it seems to be a plant, it is not. It's a bacteria and it causes problems over time.
There you have it, folks. I had some in a
Alright.
smoothie this morning, so there you go.
Okay,
Wow.
Davina had a
Thank you.
question.
Yes.
Davina's question was, she said, I bought trace minerals. What did I buy and do we really need those?
I don't know anything much about trace minerals.
Trace minerals can be awesome. They can be cool. Usually the source is like some, I don't know, ocean water or something like that. They just kind of took the water and that's why it's so salty. It's extremely salty. It tastes horrible, but it's actually a natural source of these minerals. So if you can tolerate it, fine. But I think one thing I tried at one point was like using it to season food, like putting it in food as instead of salt, because it's salty. So you can get those extra minerals by doing that. But it does change the taste of the foods. But I mean, oh gosh, they are so bad. If you can tolerate it that way, then cool. I mean, because I do stuff all the time that's gross. Some people are like, nope, I'm not doing that. It's nasty. So they're just like, But if you can get yourself to do it, have at it.
Okay. She said she puts it in her smoothies and they're horrible.
Yeah.
Okay. I have two more questions. Let's see. Deborah Crowley, and then I'm going to go to Paula. Deborah Crowley asks, how do you start your day as far as eating foods as a diabetic?
I can take this one.
Okay.
It's really important for folks that are living with diabetes to start your day with as natural foods as possible. Okay. You want to start your day with water, very important, and fruits, specifically berries, raspberries, blueberries, something that is not high in fat. You don't want to start your day just cramming a bunch of fat in your body because that's going to make your blood sugar spike. Okay. So the fried foods, not a good idea for breakfast. You want to do something more like oatmeal, low on sugar oatmeal, some natural steel cut oats are probably your best option more than an instant packet. But you want to start your day with something as nutrient dense as possible. Berries are the best. Some of the other fruits are really high in sugar, so they can cause your thank you, Dion. She said water with lemon or water with lime, like a warm water too. Great way to start your day. So don't start with a heavy meal. And I know we've been kind of programmed that we get up and we have the fried eggs and the fried bacon and the fried this and the toast and all this stuff. Those are really have a higher glycemic index. So get the fruits, the berries that have a lower glycemic index, and you will feel great.
Okay,
I would also say that for sure, the citrus, the lemon water, the lime water is great because vitamin C is so important for a diabetic. Those minerals that I mentioned earlier, the potassium and the magnesium and the zinc, cannot be absorbed well without vitamin C. So definitely starting your day that way is going to be great, having those citrus fruits or juicing them or putting the juice in water. Also understand that even more important for a diabetic than anyone else is the fact that we have what's called a circadian rhythm. So we process things differently throughout the day. And the optimal time for our insulin production in order to handle the sugars in a diet is going to be early morning until 2 p.m. So that is the crucial point when you want to get anything that is carb rich or, like your sweet potato, because that's where you're going to get a lot of your potassium from. Sweet potatoes, beets, and avocados also. But they are high in fats, but they are also high in potassium. So there's like this balancing act that they can do for you. But after 2, you want to kind of focus more on your proteins.
Okay, good deal. Paula has a question. Do frozen vegetables and fruits give you enough nutrients compared to fresh ones?
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
yeah.
frozen, especially most of the time these days, they're flash frozen. So it's not like they're just quickly frozen straight from wherever the source was. So it's even probably more so nutritious than waiting. How long does it take for something to get to our market? Once it's picked, it can take weeks or months for something to get from wherever the source is to our market. Now, if you're buying locally, that's different. You're getting it right there, probably within days of it being picked. But usually frozen is frozen within days of being picked. So it's fine. And the temperatures help prevent nutrient losses like vitamin C, which is very susceptible to being lost due to the air exposure.
Okay.
Also, just to add on, if you do have to buy canned, okay, sometimes people don't have access to fresh fruits. They don't have access to frozen. If all you have is canned, make sure you rinse whatever it is prior to cooking it. Get that juice and all that. It's loaded with sodium, which is bad, obviously, for lots of reasons. Too much sodium and all those processed in preservatives and whatnot they put in the canned food. So make sure you rinse it thoroughly before you prepare it, and just prepare it with fresh water.
Good deal. We have a comment on here from, I'm not sure who the viewer is, but they're signed in, and they said that Ashara helped me kick COVID's butt. She called me every day to ensure my progression, and she said a million thanks. And I have to admit that even me, I have been hard-headed. She knows it for the last 2-3 years, but hush. But just this recent few months ago, Ashara, I bought her wellness. It's called, I think it's called War.
Or yeah.
And that is actually, I'm not going to say it's, because I don't want to put too many words in there, but it, it helps with viruses. So I have to say I'm thankful that I have not gotten the virus, but I wanted to make sure with all these different variants coming out that I didn't. And for some reason, something said, get it now. And that's exactly what I did. So anytime I get, and it gets too cold or anything, I make sure that I take at least 1 or 2 supplements, depending on how cold it is at night, so I can make it through the night and through the day. So I have to admit that, she's been a true lifesaver to get me through this winters. And I've been hard-headed, I admit it. And Davina wants to know, how do we get War? So Ashara, can you really briefly give us the website to go on to Rebel Wellness?
It is www.rebelhouse, myrebelhouse.com. Sorry, myrebelhouse.com. You can also inbox me if we're friends on Facebook. I'll probably see it immediately. If not, I might not see it for a while. So the website is the best way to go about ordering it.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, everyone. Does anyone else have any more questions? Dr. Mary, let's get you unmuted, honey. There you go.
Okay, thank you. Enjoyed this. This was so informative, and I'm learning so much. But I have a question for a friend. She has a low dosage of taking blood pressure. It's like 10 millimeters. She's really low, and she told her doctor that she's going to get off of it. Oh, once you get on it, you'll never be able to get off of it. Is there a way that people can actually remove themselves by doing proper eating and I guess dieting and exercising? So I'll wait for the answers from either Rebecca or Ashara.
Well, thank you, Dr. Mary. I think we both can chime in. Absolutely, you can get off blood pressure medication, especially such a low dose if she's just starting to experience high blood pressure. Here's my thing, you all, and take away. If we walk 30 minutes every day, we will have impacts not only in our blood pressure, in our blood sugar, in our waistline, right? I did it in November. I walked 28 days. I did a 30-day challenge, and I walked 30 minutes a day for 28 of those days. And I felt so much better. My body felt stronger. And I did have COVID back in the summer, and it was tough. I was down for 3 weeks, and I've had to really work at getting my strength back, my stamina back, and walking 30 days for that in the month of November completely transformed. Now I went out hiking on Sunday and had no problems. And I was going up and down hills. So absolutely, lifestyle change Just doing that, just walking 30 minutes a day can make a significant difference. So I would encourage your friend to start walking. If she can't walk outside, go to a facility inside, maybe a treadmill at home or somewhere else or something. Walk around her house, you know, if it's inside, even that can make a difference and an impact. Absolutely. But you want to work closely with your doctor. You want to monitor your blood pressure and things like that. I would never suggest someone just cold turkey go off the medication. But,
Right.
you know, see where your baseline is now with the doctor. Start implementing changes, walking, drinking more water, resting better, you know, getting better rest at night. And then go back 3 months later, get your blood pressure checked again and see if there's been a change. And then have that conversation with your doctor. Yeah. Ashara, it's all yours.
I agree with that. Walking or moving is very important. And I'm willing to bet that stress has been a significant factor in the development and progression of the illness. So some herbs that help with that are ashwagandha and lemon balm. Those are just two that can be helpful. But as far as nutrients go, you want to focus again. This is a metabolic disorder. You're dealing with insulin issues as well. So potassium increase. Some doctors will actually prescribe potassium. I'm not sure why all don't, but it's usually not a high dose. We have to have about 4,700 milligrams of potassium daily, just if you're healthy. So when you have diabetes or hypertension, you actually need more, but just getting the basic amount is hard if we're not thinking about what we're eating. So again, those root vegetables, the potatoes, sweet potatoes, beets, and then avocado, very high in, that's about 900 milligrams. All those four things, you're going to get about 900 milligrams if you have like a cup of those things cooked. So right there, if you had one of each, a cup of each, you've got 4,000 almost out of the almost 5,000 that you need for the day. But you have to be mindful, you have to be purposeful about what you're eating and try to make sure that you're maximizing the nutrients that you get from your food. So those refined things, that white sugar, that's a no. That's a no, because you're not getting anything from it, and it's going to cause you to have to use too much of the precious minerals that you already have. So you don't have anything to waste. You have no room for that. So no white sugar, no white salt. You know, we know that salt is very important when it comes to hypertension. You don't necessarily have to cut salt out, but you do want to be mindful about the kind of salt that you're using and how much, especially if you're not getting enough potassium, which balances the sodium. Okay, so Himalayan salt, Celtic sea salt, Redmond real salt. These are unrefined salts. So they actually have several nutrients packaged with that sodium. Okay, you don't want to get anything that's just this thing or just that thing, because that's going to cause you to have to expend more nutrients trying to process it. You don't want to do that. So magnesium also, again, spinach. Spinach. How much spinach can you have? How much can you take? How much can you tolerate? Juice it. I mean, I like to make juice with spinach, carrots, and apples. It's delicious. It's delicious. So just use that app. Try to make sure you're getting all your minerals in every day, and try to avoid things that are going to cause you to lose or use too much of precious resources that you can't afford to lose.
Yeah, Rebecca?
Yes, ma'am. We have a question here from Sunshine in the Instagram chat. She says, what would make someone have a crash when starting their day with fruits? And I can start, and you can add on, Ashara, to the answer. Basically, if you eat fruits, a lot of fruits with a high glycemic index, for instance, mango. If you eat mango first thing in the morning, right, that's going to make your blood sugar spike, right? And you don't eat anything else to kind of bring it down. If you have a protein with it, that could kind of balance it out. Then eventually that's going to crash. Okay. And so you want to make sure the fruits, that's why berries are so good to start your day with. Even if you had, like a berry medley, because it's low glycemic index, it doesn't cause it to spike, because when something spikes, it's going to come down. What goes up comes down, right? And that's what would cause that crash, because you were taking in things with too much of a high glycemic index. And hopefully that answers your question. Do you want to add on, Ashara?
Oh, for sure. It can also be when the carb or sugar content is high, but you have not had enough potassium and magnesium. So if you're eating sweet potatoes, you shouldn't have that problem. If you're eating watermelon that's high water content, although it's very sweet, it's also very high water content. If that's a problem, then you want to make sure that you're eating the watermelon with something that is high potassium. So combining things so that you're getting a wide variety of the nutrients that you need to help process those sugars can help prevent the crash.
I think she heard you good. Thank you, Ashara. You know, and I think sometimes it can get overwhelming, you know, just in this hour we've spent together, there's so much information and it can really become overwhelming. That's what I tell folks. If you need someone to help you, that's why there's health coaches. That's why we're here, because we can work with you individually to help you through whatever it is, right? Some people are starting from no understanding whatsoever to a general understanding, like have been on their journey, their wellness journey, and they have an understanding of nutrients. And other people don't even understand how much water they should drink a day. You know, like they say, there's levels to this, right? There's levels to all of this, to nutrition and wellness. So yeah, and someone just mentioned proper food combinations. You know, you can eat wrong foods together that can cause, you know, toxicity in your stomach and your digestive system if you combine the wrong foods. So lots of information, but I want to encourage you all to get with someone who you know is authentic and you know is going to have your best interests at heart. That's not just trying to, you know, there's a lot of scammers in this community as well. There's a lot of people who really don't understand what they're talking about and they're just trying to get some money and go on about their day. Okay. So if you're going to get with someone that's going to help you, make sure it's someone that's reputable, make sure it's someone you can trust. I know you can reach out to myself. I'm at, like Melvina mentioned, at Equality Health Coaching on both Instagram and Facebook, and also Rebel House Wellness for Ashara on both of those platforms as well. And I know that I do free consultations. So, you know, whatever the situation might be, it's very customizable. This is not a cookie cutter approach. So if you come across a health coach that just wants to put you in a cookie cutter, just run. Would you agree, Ashara?
That can be an accurate assessment. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
This is really
so.
good. I have like,
Mhm.
I think 2 more questions if we're okay with that. One is coming
Okay.
from Dr. Anita, and she's asking, do you consider blood type for nourishment?
I don't at all. You know, I mean, like she just said, like Rebecca just said, there are folks out here who come up with these things and they're like, hey, I think this will sell. I think this is cool. Then, you know, and there's science to back up almost anything anybody wants to say. You know, you have to really understand how to understand what the science is actually saying. So somebody can write a book that says, oh, eat for your blood type, and they can possibly provide some studies that back up whatever they're saying. But we have to understand how to read those studies, and most of us don't. We're just saying, hey, look, this person wrote this and then they gave some studies for it, so it must be. No, I don't believe in that for several reasons, but I'll just go with the most basic reason. One being that we are not the only creatures on this planet with varying blood types. We're not going to find lions varying their diet based on a blood type. We're not going to find apes or any other creature doing that. We have a basic need. We have the basic nutrients we need based on our physiology. You know, some creatures produce vitamin C. Their bodies can make that. We cannot. We have to deal with what our bodies can do in general. We have that baseline, and then each individual may have certain issues. Somebody might have diabetes. Somebody might have some genetic issue. That would be something different, where you're, okay, now we have this baseline and we're going to build from that based on your specific issues. But blood type is not one of them. It is not a factor as far as my understanding goes. It would be as silly as thinking that any other creature should have to say, well, my blood type is this, so I should avoid this, or I should only eat that. Nothing's operating in that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Becca?
Same. Nothing to add here. I agree 100%.
Okie doke.
They're-
Paula.
They're over here cutting up in the Instagram chat, y'all. They're just cutting up.
We have a question on this side from Paula.
All right. Mhm.
Paula's question is, what are healthy and natural substitutes to white sugar?
So whole cane sugar. It's still from the cane, it's just not refined. So that actually has several names depending on the country of origin. So it may be jaggery, it may be sucanat, sucanat. It may be rapadura, rapadura. It may be muscovado. I know that Whole Foods has muscovado. It's extremely expensive, but they also have sucanat to my knowledge. So, or it may just say whole cane sugar. I know Wholesome brand has whole cane sugar. It should be brown. It should look like brown sugar in color, except it shouldn't be shiny. It shouldn't be crystalline. That lets you know that they processed out the nutrients first and then added some back in. And just so everybody understands, because I know a lot of people don't know this, but molasses is what you get when you take the nutrients out of cane sugar. They take that out and sell it separately to you as molasses. So molasses is very rich in all those nutrients that should be in your sugar. And sugar is actually a source of potassium and magnesium if you get the whole cane sugar. So white sugar, that's just cane sugar that has been processed. Sugar in the raw, I'm hearing a lot of people talk about that. It's okay, but it's still been partially processed. But if you don't have access to the whole cane sugar, then it will be better than white, obviously. Then you have date sugar, or date powder, sometimes it's called, where it's just dried dates that have been ground down to a powder. You have coconut sugar, maple syrup, honey. Lots of options.
Okay, good deal.
I don't know all the names like she does, but I was going to say whole cane sugar. I don't have all the other names, but yes, indeed. And sugar is one of those things that when I cut it out of my diet, I was actually I know there's studies that say that you can't be addicted to sugar, but I know what I went through. When
you can be addicted to white sugar. White sugar.
I read some studies that says that you can't. I was like, look, I was strung out. Okay.
Oh, you'll be strung out. I've been there.
Me and little Debbie were like this, y'all. It was crazy. And like I literally had withdrawal symptoms. I would have to avoid the little Debbie aisle, like when I shopped for 2 or 3 years, because I would literally salivate and have those cravings. So I fasted. I did a juice fast. I tried to 3 weeks. I lasted 2 weeks, and that's how I broke my sugar addiction, because everything else was gone. I was able to remove so many negative things, or things that weren't what's the word? Some really unhealthy habits, but that sugar really had a grasp on me. So yes, get away from the white sugar. My hands used to be inflamed when I was in my 30s, because I'm sure it was the sugar. The inflammation in my body was tremendous. So do what you can, get rid of that sugar, y'all. That white sugar, it's just bad all the way around. And
it'll have you craving things like crazy. You'll be ready to rip somebody's head off about some white sugar.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And the thing is, though, when you cut that out and you balance your diet, I've had numerous clients tell me, I don't have cravings. Yeah. My cravings gone. They left. Yeah. But then I didn't tell them don't have anything sweet. I didn't have to say cut carbs. And a lot of times when people go on those low carb diets, they're really setting themselves up for a major downfall and backslide big time. You will find yourself in there killing a whole box of your kids' oatmeal, trying to figure out where have you gone wrong.
And Dion said fake salt.
Just killing it.
Dion was saying fake salt causes inflammation too.
Oh, yeah.
Fake salt. Yeah.
MSG too. Yeah. The salt substitutes. Mm-hmm.
And, it's important to understand that this COVID and everything we've been going through these last 2 years, the studies are coming out that it attacks the inflammation in our bodies. Like that when this virus enters our bodies, it goes to wherever there's inflammation. And I know I had inflammation in my stomach because my stomach, I didn't eat for 5 days when I was sick. I lost 13 pounds while I was sick because I still had inflammation in my stomach from digestive, not from 40 years of eating poorly, I still had some lingering things going on in my digestive system. So be mindful of that. So hopefully and willfully, these tips are helping and they help someone to remove those things from their diet and begin to regenerate and heal ourselves, right?
Definitely.
And get rid of that inflammation. So
Well,
nutrient
this
density.
session was very, very, very informative. And I just want to say thank you to both of you, Rebecca and Ashara, for all of your information. And ladies, just to let you know, this is just the first of many, because trust and believe. I told them each to write 5 questions or 6 questions. I don't know how many questions, 5. So this is just this is just the beginning of many, because we want to start off healthy. We want to try to get in 2022 healthy, work on some of these things. When I say I get on Ashara's nerves, the minute someone tells me about any type of supplement, any type of new something, I'm always sending it to her. Okay, what's this? What's going on? And so we'll have a dialogue in the chat about it, and it's helping me get better. I'm not perfect, but I'm understanding a lot more. And also, those of you who really want to do the 30-minute walking, Rebecca has a website. Well, no, her inbox. Well, no, her group. Get it together, Mel. Her group, she does it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Her timing is at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 30 minutes. You can sign up for her group. What's the name of the group?
Preventing diabetes for everyday people, or diabetes prevention for everyday people. I'll put it in the chat.
And yeah, and so you can sign up, and if you want to be on the live with her or just be right there with her while she's doing the live walking that 30 minutes, it's good to have that encouragement to, to support each other to get that out. And with that being said, I want to give you a little bit of blurb about the All G100 before we go. So if there's anyone who sees the segment after this, after you sharing, and please share your pages, ladies, and everyone else as much as you can so we can get this out there to everyone. The All Ladies League is a multinational movement of global sisterhood. The ethos is potential in all, possibilities for all, power to all. And the vision is fostering a worldwide web of women as sisters beyond borders and soul sisters. The mission is to connect 1 million women by 2022 and 5 million by 2025. How are we doing this? I'm trying to do is talk like Dr. Anita, because she's so eloquent. I love her. I'm learning, but we're creating chapters, circles, groups of women worldwide. And alone we strive, but together we thrive. Our code of conduct is all positivity, no negativity. The vision and mission of G100 is to create an equal, progressive, and inclusive environment for women worldwide. So you have a sisterhood that's literally global. I've seen it in person. G100's mission is to provide the thought leadership on what needs to be done for inclusivity, safety, economic, and social empowerment of women globally, addressing gender gaps and achieving gender parity within this decade. Our founder is Dr. Harbeen Arora. She's the founder of G100. She's the founder of All Ladies League, the Women Economic Forum, the Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Sheconomy. I may be missing one, I'm not sure, but I wanted to kind of give you a little blurb about what it is that we do and what we're a part of and what we're supporting. So if you are a woman or either a man, because we do have the Denim Club that support the women as well, and we support each other for the commonality of what we're trying to achieve throughout the world. Please inbox me, inbox one of us, myself, Ashara. We also have the website. It is, let me get it right. If I get it wrong, someone type it in the website because I just pulled it up. It's it's www.aall.in. I'm going to make sure. www.aall.in. If you are interested, look on the website. You get more information. You see how our global leaders are. We have 100 wings from different areas, technology, a children wing. We have so much. I can't even name it, but I want to make sure I shared that with you all because this is what we do. I put this together because I wanted everyone to see who Rebecca is, who Ashara is, and we all support each other globally so we can help each other globally. And with that being said, please stay tuned. I'm sorry, go ahead, Dr. Anita.
Thank you so much. I just have to mention, please, thank you so much. We are specifically G1, Oneness and Wisdom, and any of the sisters, if you're interested in wanting to be joined with the Sister Circle, we would love, embrace, and have you. G100, All Ladies League is the overall umbrella. We are specifically Oneness and Wisdom, and we'd love to have you. Thank you, Reverend Melvina.
You are so welcome. Thank you, Dr. Anita. I appreciate that. So anyone, if you're interested, please get in contact with any of us. Put a comment in the post and we will contact you. We would love to have you and we would love to see what it is you want to, your gifting so we can share with the world who you are and what you represent. And be aware that we will be having another segment, as I said. So with that being said, I want to say again, thank you all for chiming in. Thank you all for joining us. Excuse me. And you all, we've talked a lot. I hope there was a lot of information that you all got. I appreciate you all. And please stay tuned for our next segment. We don't have a date yet, but we welcome you to come in and get more information and share with others as you get it as well.
Yes, ma'am. You all have a great night.
Everyone have a great night.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Yes. Happy 2022. It's almost here.
Happy New Year. Healthier you.